Hello everyone. I hope you have a very nice day and you enjoy all sessions here. In my session, I would like to talk with you about very interesting thing and a little bit different probably than you already saw and you will see during this nice event. I'd like to present you something what is called OpenToFu and what it is, why it was created, what we have behind this, what is the purpose of it, and what will be the future, or how I can know, how can I know what will be the future? Probably I can't, but I can have some predictions. Okay, so let's get started. My name is Piwosz, and I work as a developer advocate at Spacelift for 5 months now. I am DevOps Institute ambassador, CD Foundation ambassador, and also AWS community builder. And I have some kind of good seat in this OpenToFu initiative. So let's get started and let's go through the history a little bit of the project. So why this project came to the picture? Because of this thing. On 10th of August, HashiCorp announced that they changed the licenses for their products. Many of them, like Vagrant, like Vault, but also for Terraform. And this brings some actions in the community, and quite soon we start to think what to do with this, because it is very important to understand what this license change means. So let's go and discuss in very short way what are the differences here. And why in very short way? Because I'm not the lawyer and I can just give you some glimpse of the idea, what is behind. So Terraform was always as a published as a MPL. Okay, MPL means Mozilla Public License, and this is truly open source license. So you can do everything, and it's not an exaggeration. So you can contribute to the code, you can contribute to the documentation, you can contribute to the trainings, to the spreading the word about the tool or project or whatever, and you can use it in your business simply. So this is MPL. What is BSL then? Because this is the license selected by Hashi. It's the business source license. It is not open source license. This is the license which I called kind of parameterized. And that's why, because this is the parameterized license, I am not very, let's say, comfortable with this license. Because parameterization here is completely under the control of the licensor. And I'm not saying that this is the wrong thing, but the point here is that the licensor can change the mind whenever they want. And if we are using some tool, we would like to have some stability, right? And what kind of parameters we have in this license? So first of all is the usage restriction. So as this is the parameterized license, I can say that, for example, if there is 10 or 100 people who are attending this session, I can say that 80% of you, or set the parameter, set the usage in that way that 80% of you will be able to use this product and 20 will be not. Okay, I can say that, for example, if you work for the company where more than 1,000 people work there, you cannot use this tool for free. But tomorrow I can come to you and say, I changed my mind. Right now it's 500 people. Of course, here I'm exaggerating a little bit because this is not that kind of craziness behind this. So bear with me. So I wanted to show the worst possible scenario, really, which will never happen. But the point is that we don't know when and how this parameter will be changed. The last two parameters are about the type of the license after some time. So, for example, I can say that the BSL license is valid for 5 years, and after 5 years, the product or this code will go under the MPL license or any other license. And tomorrow I can come and say, you know what, not 5, 7 years. So this is also under the selection of the licensor. And this doesn't give the stability. I do not feel comfortable with this shade of gray here, okay? And to be completely clear, I strongly believe that company who owns a product may do whatever they want with this product. They can even just say, all right, today we close our shop, done. There is no more tool A, B, C on the market. Every single company has one purpose: to be profitable. And that's perfectly fine. Okay? To be clear here. Right, so the next important day was 13th of August, because OpenTF group, as was called in that time, published a manifesto. In this manifesto, we said a couple of things about our expectations and our kind request about Terraform. This manifesto is available under opentofu.org. You can find it there. It's longer than this couple of lines here. And it is also available in GitHub, where we have 36,000 of stars. And as you can see here, we have more than 1,000 pull requests closed already. And just to give you the idea about the support from the community, majority of this, and I mean not like 51%, it's more like 90 something percent, if not more, of those closed pull requests are about people who pledged their support for coding, for promotion, for different things. But those are people, those individuals, companies, organizations, projects, foundations, a lot of them. And if you go through this list, you will find quite the names there. So it was really, really amazing to watch this, because when some hype started, we saw so huge growth of interest in this manifesto, in this project, and very, very, very huge response from the community with pledging help. So this was really, really cool to see. Okay, so next date was 25th of August. We forked Terraform under OpenTF, still OpenTF. Today, this, what is now called OpenToFu, has 14,000 stars on GitHub. And when you look inside how the work is going on, is really a thriving and living project, and it's amazing to see that, really. On 5th of September, the OpenToFu repository become available. So everyone could go there, look on the code, even start collaborating. There was no release at that time. We were still working on the preparations. Very important date, I will show in a second. And this is how the OpenToFu repository looks right now, right? So we have this 15,000 stars. There is like 500 forks already, and a lot of work is done, as you can see on the screen, and you can go there and see it by your own eyes and your own hands on keyboard. So another very important date for us was 19th of September. Linux Foundation, during the Open Source Summit, announced that OpenToFu becomes part of the Linux Foundation family. And this was a wow moment. Why this is important? What is the Linux Foundation at all? So I mentioned on the beginning that I am a CD Foundation ambassador. So CD Foundation is part of Linux Foundation. And to give you some idea what is behind this foundation, this is the biggest open source foundation which curates and takes care about open source projects. You can say, well, open source, what is open source? It's small things, only smart and very starting startups using open source. Yeah, of course. Jenkins is an open source project, right? May I say today, who is using Jenkins today? So it's not surprise it is, open source, right? Okay, Prometheus is an open source project. How many of you are using Prometheus in your monitoring systems? Not enough? Okay, OpenTelemetry. This is also the project under Linux Foundation, or one of the foundations under Linux Foundation. Still not enough? Okay, Open Policy Agent. If you are interested in security, in securing your pipelines, in DevSecOps, here we are, Open Policy Agent. Not enough? Kubernetes. It's also open source project under CNCF, which is part of the Linux Foundation. And even more. Do you have your MacBook laptop? Do you have your phone with Android system? Maybe you have, TV set with some system inside, or you just work on Ubuntu right now. Linux kernel itself is also open source project under Linux Foundation. So as you can see, open source today is much more than we just can imagine that, like, just right out of the box. There is a lot of projects, hundreds probably, under Linux Foundation umbrella, and they thriving. And many companies around us, many products around us are using those open source initiatives, open source projects, open source products. And being under Linux Foundation with OpenToFu ensures the community, ensures the market that OpenToFu is not just open source now, but it will stay open source. Well, let me say that forever. So 19th of September. And the first release was released on 4th of October. So the first alpha release. And interestingly, very quickly, we realized that this release contains some issue. And the second alpha release was released a day after with all, stuff inside and fixes inside. Okay, let me show you one very important thing about OpenToFu. We say that OpenToFu is drop-in replacement for Terraform. What it means? It means that if you have running projects with Terraform, you probably don't want to go and start the work with the new tool where you have to migrate really all the resources you have or in the worst scenario, recreate all resources you have using the new tool. With OpenToFu right now, you don't need to be scared with that. You don't need to care about this. The migration to OpenToFu is easy like change of the binary. And let me show you that. So here we are in the very complicated project called Tofu test. And I have a really big Terraform template. Let me show you this template. Yeah, very complicated, right? So very simple. I'm using the random provider to create and then output one single random number from 1 to 5,000, right? And as we can see in my directory, and especially I did this on purpose in that way, sorry for that. I will just make my screen better aligned somehow. Okay, come on. Oh yeah, we have it. Yeah, so if I show you what is in the directory, we see there is nothing else than just this file. So what we will do, I have the Terraform installed in my system. Maybe I should wrote the proper command. And as you can see, I'm having here Terraform 1.3.4. It doesn't matter really. We did a lot of job to ensure that OpenToFu, which is released in version 1.6, is drop-in replacement for 1.6 as well of Terraform, and 1.5.7, etc. And as you can see again in this very simple template, there is really no reason for me to upgrade this Terraform at this point, especially. So what I will do, I will initialize my project, right? I have my Terraform log, I have everything here. So let's do Terraform apply. Okay. Yes, I apply this, and we have the number 1332, right? If I look right now in my repository, I have the TF state, of course, I have log, and I have this Terraform directory with all providers, etc., downloaded, and all stuff related to this. So what I can do, I can, for example, see Terraform show. Let's just try to do this in JSON, and we will put it in JQ just to have the better visualization, right? So we have the information that we are using Terraform 1.3.4. That's fine. We are using the provider random from HashiCorp and from the registry terraform.io, right? registry.terraform.io. Please remember that part. If we do Terraform providers, we see also that the configuration and state in this case requires the same provider from registry.terraform.io/HashiCorp/random. If I do Terraform version again, we can see that I'm using again the same Terraform, and here we have the information about the provider as well. Fine. So again, we have this, and right now I will use OpenToFu. I said this is drop-in replacement, so everything what I have here should just work perfectly fine when I switch the binary. I have Tofu installed here in version 1.6.0 alpha 2, version Alpha 3 is available. So let me show you how easy I can install it in my system. So let me just jump back to my home directory, and I will just download it using wget. I need to find one thing here. Just 1 second. Okay, this is this release. And I have this release here. So I'm downloading the release from OpenToFu release page, okay, on GitHub. I downloaded the Debian package, so I can do something like that. Alpha 3. Okay, so I'm installing right now the new package. Okay, so as you can see, I unpacked and installed Alpha 3 over Alpha 2. Let's check this. Right, we have Alpha 3. So let's come back to our directory, which was, if I don't remember, tofu test. Okay. Right, we are here. Let's do tofu version again. As you can see, I have OpenToFu installed, but my provider is still pointing into registry terraform.io. And this is something what I want to change. Why? Because first of all, I want to use provider which is like in the, let's say, galaxy of OpenToFu. But also, HashiCorp changed a little bit the way how their registry can be used. So the registry terraform.io should be used only by Terraform, not tools like Tofu. That's why we can still download the providers, modules, etc. from GitHub. They are still under MPL license, and this probably will not change. They are available from GitHub, and Terraform and Tofu allows us to use GitHub as a source for our providers, but we cannot use registry, and this is quite comfortable way of doing things. So what I will do, I will just do tofu init. Okay, tofu is initialized, and let me just do tofu version again. Right now we have two providers downloaded. We have OpenTofu and Terraform.io. So we have opentofu.org, Terraform.io. If I do Terraform, not Terraform, you know what? Let's change something in our code, okay? Because we will do some work with this. So now I will do tofu apply. Let's see what we have here. Okay, everything is fine. We say yes, done. And now let's see. So you can see we have new number, right? We still have the same information here. But when we see this, we can see clearly that our state provider is OpenTofu. Right? So we have this in the state already. So let's see the same thing like we did before, but with tofu. So what we have here, we have this still the same Terraform version. It will not change to tofu version because this is the document structurized with the documentation provided for HCL and Terraform by HashiCorp. So we are compatible with that. But here, if we see for the provider name, we can see registry opentofu.org. So now we use this registry from OpenTofu. And as you can see here, very easily, just changing the binary, I was able to reconfigure my project without any loss in my data, in my resources, without any problem with it to use by OpenTofu. And that is really, really nice to see. And of course, the naming still stay the same. There is no reason to change it. You can start using this from right now, really. But please remember, on the day I record this session, we are still in alpha version. We are not, let's say, we do not say OpenTofu is production ready. Okay, we need to ensure that it is. When the full release will be available, that is a great question. Honestly speaking, I don't have this information right now. And this is the future of OpenTofu. And about the future of this project, I'm really positive, because first of all, it is so energetic, so amazing to be in the middle of this thing happening. It's really awesome. And if you have a chance to contribute, to be part of open source project from day zero or even -1, do it, because this is amazing experience. OpenTofu will be with us for a longer time. OpenTofu has a really great support right now. There are companies who pledged the support, engineers, finances, everything. And most importantly, OpenTofu right now is part of the Linux Foundation family, which gives the comfort of using it. That if today this is open source, tomorrow it will be open source too. That's why I strongly believe that really OpenTofu has a bright future. And I hope really that there are many between all of us who really would like to participate and contribute. Don't be shy. Just go to the manifesto site, go to the OpenTofu repository. You can start contributing from day zero. Well, maybe not day zero, from today. There is a process for contribution. Everything is in the documentation. We have, of course, the steering committee, which decides about the future. But really, where OpenTofu will be driving and will be in the future is also in your hands. Now, I showed you that OpenTofu today is the drop-in replacement. And I want to emphasize this. Today, it is drop-in replacement. What about tomorrow and day after? It's hard to say, because Terraform is going with its own roadmap. OpenTofu is going with its own roadmap. OpenTofu is driven by the community. And the community decides what will happen. So I cannot promise that in 1 year, 2 years, you can just change the binary and everything will be fine. Of course, The goal for the community also is to prepare migration tools, etc., etc. But not everything can be in this migration toolset. So be aware of this. Okay, that's all. I'm in time, I think. If you like to connect with me, learn more about OpenToFu, or just connect with me and listen to my podcasts, here are my socials. I really be happy to see you in my, let's say, network. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. And see you one day.